CYM.
Okay, thank you very much. WW7ATS. WW7N disconnected.
This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage where you'll find a little bit of information about our club and also the frequencies we operate on. Also on our site is a link to YouTube streaming. Streams our nets that are held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during our nets. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody needs to make contact or has an emergency traffic on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So far checked in by video link to our net this evening is Rod, KD7QKU, Lee, N7KC, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else that would like to check into the net this evening? Now we'll get the ball rolling. Let's start off with Ron in Tacoma, KD7QKU.
Okay, well thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to the group. This is KD7QKU over in Tacoma. Gee, I was just watching Evening Magazine and they were showing the Ross Rust Mansion over on North Yakima Street. Apparently he was the fellow who owned the smelter down here. And I don't know when it was built. It was built at the turn of the century. Man, what a big house. And a lady developer bought it and spent $1 million to restore it. And it's, I guess it's up for sale. They were showing it on Evening Magazine. So I'll have to drive by and take a look at it sometime. I forget what she was going to sell it for. Let's see, what else went on today? Well, I have a neighbor, Steve. He and I probably are talk the most and are getting to be friends. He lives around the corner. Yesterday he called and said he was going to the dentist. We share the same dentist. He told us he was really nice. They're really nice. So it was a good recommendation. So he called and said he had to go to the dentist and someone was going to take him and drop him off. Could we pick him up? he said he was going to need some assistance to get home. And I didn't know exactly what he meant by that, but I said sure. So I thought he was going to go in the afternoon, but lo and behold, I was talking to my son Ron, who called. About 10 o'clock, the office called and said he's ready to be picked up. So I ran over there and got him. Man, was he knocked out. So the dentist brought him out to the car. I went in and told him I was there. Goodness sakes, he could hardly walk or anything else. Got him loaded in the car, and I said to the dentist, well, what did you do to him? He said, oh, we gave him a Valium. And he said he needs to go home and go to sleep. So I got him home, got him in the house, and then I came home, and then they called me and said they were closing at noon, and he forgot some medicine. Could I come and get the medicine? So then I went and got the medicine, and then I called him and said, now that I got you awake, I have some medicine, so I'm going to bring it in. So he said, okay. He'd given me a key to his house, so I brought it in to him. But yeah, and I saw him just a minute ago. He thanked me for doing all that, and he didn't remember the medicine, so I don't know what that was all about. I said, well, there was a little white bag. You set it on the floor next to the Davino you were sitting on, and the guy gave you a bottle when you got in the car, and I think you put it in your pocket. He didn't remember anything about it, so I guess it wasn't important. So that's about all the excitement I had for today. So back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Well, then I'd like to welcome Lee and 7KC back from Port Angeles. Bright eyes, bushy tail, nice. Welcome, Lee and 7KC. What say you?
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3 and 7KC. Am I making the trip? Okay, well, I'm using an earbud, you know. They're pretty nice. Well, good evening, Dave, and Ron, and Richard, and James, and Jim, I think. In 7QO is hiding out someplace. I don't see his video tonight. So, I don't think he has access to the right computer or something, maybe. Well, yeah. Did I say Lee and 7KC in Port Angeles? Yeah, well, it's been kind of starting on the 8th of this month, is when I had my right eye done, and it's been kind of an adventure ever since. I think my advice would be, at the first sign that you need your cataracts taken care of, do it. Don't let them get aged. Because the ultrasound energy used to break up cataracts is a function of how old they are. And mine happened to be particularly obnoxious, and so they had to use a lot of ultrasonic energy to bust them up. And what it did was, it did a job on my cornea, the bone of the cornea. It inflamed them pretty badly and so forth, so they all went milky and all that. So I was 5 days getting over the left one and 4 days on the right. So, but now that I'm on the mend, things are looking reasonably good. I was suffering eye strain for a while. You know, one eye wasn't the same as the other, and they're still not. And so we've tried several different pairs of glasses and whatnot. And it's just something I have to get through. So I can do glasses after the end of all this, and then I'll be in good shape. So anyway, so far, okay. No complaints now. Looks like it's going to come out fine. A little worrisome there for a while. Well, turkey day tomorrow, by gosh. We got Paula made a pumpkin pie today, and we're actually going to have spaghetti. She made a really nice thick spaghetti sauce. And we made some meatballs and that sort of thing. So spaghetti, meatballs, a salad, pie. It's going to be okay. It's been dry over here. We finally did get a little rain, but we had a big spell. And I haven't had any wind to turn my wind generator in probably 3 weeks. I'm out of time. In WW7KC, waiting for an answer. Back to you, Dave.
Casey, thanks for that, and we wish you speedy healing with your vision. That is a pretty important thing to have in life. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Grandstream and YouTube. We got this white screen, and I don't know if that was because I didn't have a picture all dialed in right away. I saw my my call sign and the time of day, and then when I switched over to a picture, it hesitated, and then it went to that white screen. So anyway, I put your picture on the Cougar Shack. If there's anything else to show you. Well, yeah, no, there really is, except for the fact, well, I don't know. Maybe there's nothing coming over. I don't quite understand why not. So, I mean, if you want me to see anything different, well, I'm just trying to understand what my issue is, because I know I was coming over. I saw like I said, I saw us on YouTube for a second. Other than that, I'm just listening on out to you guys, and I don't know. I just made a foolish mistake today. I never go into the office, and so I call when I'm talking to one of the, I think it was the shop superintendent, and we're getting a technical discussion, and I could tell we weren't going to get finished. We're going to have to resume it, and I said, oh, okay. There's other people in the room. I was on speakerphone, and my wife even walked in. She works there, and she even walked into the conversation. And I asked him, "Are you going to be in the office tomorrow?" I honestly, I know it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. No, give me a break. But when you don't go in every day, and it's kind of early in the morning, and you know what I mean, some of you old timers. I mean, it'd be helpful if you were reminded of what day it is and what time it is, and if it's a holiday when you get out of bed. That's all. K7ITX.
K7ITX, thanks for that. And for ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. The 08 machine, I'm Dave. KD7CYM. Well, let's see if Jim's with us. N7QO on the night before Thanksgiving.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Wow, Ron, dentist. It sounds like you had lots of excitement today. I would like to think that if I went to the dentist, he would, I don't know, maybe not give me something that's going to knock me out to that extreme, until, give me something to take after I get back to the house. But, oh well, that's what happened. Lee, thank you for mentioning that about the cataracts. I had someone probably 15 years ago or so say that I have, quote, the beginnings of cataracts. But no one has indicated that since. I've been to a couple of different optometrists, and they said, no, you're fine. So I don't know what to make of that exactly. Well, Dick, I have a picture of the repeater shack coming down on the 1.2 gigahertz downlink. It seems to me that when I first fired up my monitor over here, I saw some ID in the lower left, but that was just for a second or so. and I didn't quite have the resolution to read what it said. But anyway, on holidays, yeah, I think all of this stuff about holidays and that after we retire, it's kind of overstated. For that matter, my entire career, I pretty much could count on working most all holidays, and that did not exactly make me a happy camper, but that's the way it is. So, I don't know. I think the people should cut you some slack. That's my thought. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
Okay, well, let's see. I discovered I had a feed line problem just before the net here, and I bought a very inexpensive female-to-female coax connector, and I think I got my money's worth, because it's fine if you just use it one time and never unscrew it, but if you unscrew it and screw it back in, the little fingers that grip the inner conductor of the two male connectors, they wear out, and it's like so you have to go in there and kind of like tighten them up and squish them in. So I hope I'm coming through it this time. How's the audio quality? Well, Ron, there's nothing quite like friend adventures when it comes to picking up from the hospital. Gosh, it's been 2 weeks ago now, and I'm still exhausted from my adventure. The first day was a Monday. It was supposed to be what I call the drive-by drop-off, where you take somebody there for the pre-op appointment, and if you're really nice, you actually come to a full stop before you push them out of the car. And they go into the office, and then, you come by an hour later and pick them up or something. That turned out to a 12-and-a-half-hour wait-a-thon, and then the next day, of course, was even more exciting. He is back at home, so even though there were a couple hours there, I was wondering if he was going to make it or not. He's back at home, he's telecommuting, and he is working, so that's really a miraculous recovery given the seriousness of what he had. Lee, I guess I should say it's good to see you. Is that the right term for someone who's back from cataract surgery? I hope things go well. I'm sorry to hear it was a difficult pull for you. I didn't know that they used ultrasonics to break up cataracts. I thought they took the whole lens out and replaced it. I don't know, Jim. When you get one doctor that says, you need some kind of major overhaul or something, but then you go to the next couple doctors over the next few years and they go, no, you don't need that at all. I was kind of wondering, what the Mercedes payment schedule is, or what the cash flow requirement is on that. I guess I'm a real cynic. I, too, kind of lose track in the holidays here, and I remember my dad, they would do these cognitive tests with him and ask him things like, what day of the week is it, and things like that, and I interjected at one point, I'm going, how would he know what day it is? I mean, you have him in this completely, that's sort of like that room off 2001, A Space Odyssey. I mean, that's where he lived. It was like this little lab room, and we finally got him a giant LED clock, which I inherited after he passed away, that had the day, the date, and the time, including PST for Pacific Standard Time or PDT for Pacific Daylight Time, because that would be the only way I would know what day and time and month and year it was. After about a week of that, you would lose all track. So I always thought that was odd that they would ask you questions like that. I got asked questions like that when I was coming out of a surgery a few years ago, and I said, how the hell would I know? So you're fine. Anyway, with that, let me go ahead and turn back to our net control, Dave, who is KD7ZYM. This is WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. And let me know if you want the repeater switched.
7N, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Oh my, what a beautiful evening. Warm out there, 94 degrees now here in Lake City. And most of my day was doing paperwork. But I was going to say, talking about cataracts, I remember on my 60th birthday I'd gone in and got my eye exam, and the eye doctor was retiring on that day, that week. And as we were having a conversation, I said, well, I wish you well. And then he said back to me, I want you to know your cataracts are very slight at this point, but they will be growing in the future. And I said, my what? And cataracts? that was my first episode I'd had with him, and he said, yeah, I'd been watching him for about 5 years, and they're starting to start a cloud process. You might think about that in the future. So I survived another 5 years till I got the cataract surgery on both eyes, and boy, what a difference it made. I couldn't even know how close I was getting to the Jersey barriers on the freeway as I was driving along. If it hadn't been knowing, I couldn't read the big highway signs, but just because of so many years of traveling on I-5, I knew where the exits were at. But boy, after I got that surgery, it was fantastic. It was in the fall, and all the colored leaves were out, and I was going like, wow, this is a whole new world. So that's my experience with cataracts. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So moving back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Thanks again, Dave. KD7QKU here. Yeah, it seems like that's just about all we have to talk about anymore is medical things. That's about all goes on in our life, either wives or neighbors or brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is going to have another, oh golly, what did he have? And that's another thing your memory goes to. Well, anyway, they went into his heart, and did something to the nerve. Ablation. Yeah, he had an ablation. Well, I guess his heart is beating fast again, so they're going to do another one. But they don't have to go in the heart this time. They can do it from outside the heart. So anyway, they put a little electric current in there and kill the nerve or something. So anyway, he's got a little hesitation in his heartbeat or something, but they say they can fix it real easy, so I don't know, hopefully they can. He wasn't too excited about doing it again, but anyway. And let's see, Richard's shaking his head. I was just wondering if Richard would remember to go get a smoked turkey for Thanksgiving. He's been getting smoked turkey, so he'll probably talk about that next. He's got something in the back of his pickup. I don't know what it is. So let's see. Well, I have a stress fracture in my right lower leg, and then the other night, in the middle of the night, I woke up and my foot was hurting. And then I got up in the morning and I went to put my trousers on, and when I pushed my foot through my pant leg, man, my foot really hurt. And so now I'm thinking I have a little bit of gout or something in my foot. I don't know. So the doctor put me on a water pill, and I was looking today, and it says those pills can cause gout. So I don't know what's going on, but not only was my leg sore, now my foot's sore. I can't win. And I had 1.10 inches of rain the other day. My goodness, it really poured down rain here. And right now I have 41 degrees. So let's see, we're going to go over, we're not going to our son's for, out on the Key Peninsula for Thanksgiving. I begged off on that. I didn't want to drive home in the dark, 2-lane road, 30 minutes before you get out to Highway 16. I was afraid it would be raining, and it makes it even worse. I need to have cataract. I only had cataract surgery in one eye. That was my right eye. I need to have my left eye done. I'm probably going to have it in December for my 6-month checkup. I'm going to bring the subject up, I think. So let's see what else is going on. Well, not too much. We're going over to Doug and Phyllis, Joanne's sister, for turkey tomorrow. I guess it's turkey. I don't know what they're having. Joanne is bringing candied sweet potatoes, so I guess it'll be a big meal. They couldn't decide when to have it. Everybody seemed like it's going here or doing that, so they settled for late in the afternoon. And that's not a bad drive from their house to our house. It's about 10-15 minutes. I get on Highway 16 and then get on Highway 5 and then get off at Highway 7 that goes to Mount Rainier. And they're not too far down there. So it takes me about 10-15 minutes, which is nice. So that's it over here. So, Richard, it's a picture of a pig. So he's going to have a pig for Thanksgiving, I guess. Okay, back to that KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Lee, N7KC.
see, back again. Well, great stories. Yeah, I was waiting when you had a picture of that in the truck. I was waiting to hear just what that's all about. So it's going to be a good story, I'm sure. Yeah, James. Actually, what they do, I got the full explanation. They only make the tiniest little incision, and they have a tiny probe with an ultrasound tip on it and suction at the same time. So what they do is they break the lens up, suction it out, and make sure it's completely clean. And the lens sits inside of what's called a capsule. And so they don't want to breach the capsule in any sense. But anyway, they clean that all out. Then they pull the probe out, and the new lens is rolled up like a carpet when you get it. And then what they do is that they take that little thing and they slide it right in that tiny little incision, and then it flops open. And so there's takes 5 minutes. You know, it's not a very big deal. But yeah, if you let your cataracts get old and hard, then it takes more energy to bust them up, get that lens out of there, because it's the lens that gets cloudy. And as a result of they required a fair amount of jewels to do the job, and so the bottom of the cornea takes a beating, and it's only a couple of cells thick. So it gets edema in it, and it gets inflamed, and it swells up. And then you got to wait till that goes down. So you take lots and lots of drops when you get your eyes done. You know, one of them is a prednisone, and the other one is ofloxacin. It's an antibiotic. And by tonight, I will be off the antibiotic, and it just finish up with the steroid. I'll be done on, I think, the 15th of December. Oh, I think I'm about done. Anyway, yeah, Richard, I want to hear about that pig. M7KC, Leopard Excellence. Thank you, Dave.
KC, thanks for that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. For ID, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go to the pig, Richard, K7ITX. Not Richard the pig, but Richard with the pig.
Makes me laugh, it makes me cough. So, anyway, well, let's see, where do I start here? Okay, so I wasn't any part of this. I bet this could go back, I don't know, 20 years anyway, or 15. The Pike Place Market had a big, I don't know, what do you do when you throw a big party and you try to get everybody to come to the Pike Place Market? I don't know, just a big reunion, big celebration. So the celebration was to have replicas of the Pike Place pig all around the city. And I think this obviously is a Fabergé replica of the Pike Place pig that most likely sat outside of maybe Tiffany's or Zales or something like that. And so just, you might have saw a picture earlier where it was on the back of my truck. And, so now we brought it home, except I didn't have my home, someone else's home. He got it in auction, and he kept it at, interestingly enough, an airline pilot's house for probably about 10 years in the guy's living room. Pretty sure he was single, looked kind of like a party animal, and then when we went, he finally said he has to get rid of the pig out of his living room. And, it was, you can see it's a pretty decent size critter. to help carry it down out of the guy's house and down his stairs and around corners, and just two people. He couldn't help it because he was cramming for some kind of FAA test that he had to take the next morning. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I made it, and we got it in there. We didn't hurt it, and it didn't break, and I made it home. So where it sits now, I'm pretty sure it's in Cheyenne, Wyoming, at Mike. Ron met him before. All of a sudden, but anyway, that's all I know. That's all I can tell you. K7ITX.
ITX. Well, it's too bad you couldn't have had some barbecued ribs or barbecued pork, but, you know, barbecued porcelain, I guess, just isn't the greatest thing for this time of year for Thanksgiving. So let's move on down to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, yeah, Dick, those pigs are pretty big. That's funny. I think anyone with a wife would not be allowed to have that in their living room. I gotta say that. Let's see here. And, Jim, you were talking about financing this and that. I'll tell you what. I'm convinced that I saw this one dentist enough at a time in my past that I probably paid for his son's tuition going through college. So, Jim, you are not a cynic, you are a realist, and I've seen that. Let's see, Ron, gout. I don't know, gout usually affects the joints. For some strange reason, usually it affects your big toe first. But if there's some caution on the medicine you're taking, that it may cause gout or otherwise inflame your foot, I'd say that might be a good place to start looking. So, yeah, run that by the doctor. With a little luck, there might be someone in the office on Friday, or probably just an answering service, but it'll be worth asking him if you could maybe discontinue it for a while, if they could maybe substitute something else. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Let's see, looking over at the clock, it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
WW7N here, and Dick, I did put that on the 1.2 signal on the white screen. That's what I'm seeing come off the hilltop there right now. It's just a white screen. I don't know what's going on. So maybe we'll have to do more troubleshooting on that. Your pagan looks to me like an opportunity to start a new religion. You know, I read something in Sunday school about, you know, a golden cow, which would be like stealing somebody else's idea. So I think, you know, you need to have a pig, and I don't know, maybe that would really take off. You might also get an IRS deduction on that. So just a thought. So anyway, the other thing that I thought I would mention, as far as what everyone's eating, I guess tomorrow I'm going to be having, I think it's a turkey burrito, I'm not sure, but today I tried the new Dick's hamburger place in the Crossroads Mall, and I have to say they do make a tasty burger, because I guess all you guys in Seattle are used to this, but I tried them, and they had some kind of Dick special for, I think with tax and everything came to about $3. I ordered one, and my only minor complaint is shrinkflation has hit the fast food industry, because this would be like a sausage McBiscuit size thing, but now it's a hamburger. But it's definitely shrunk in size. It was very tasty. I went back and ordered 2 more, but I'm not sure I'll make a habit of it because, I mean, it's just around $10 for the 3 sausage McBiscuit-sized hamburgers. But it was very tasty. If you haven't tried Dick's, you should try and do that. I'll put that plug in. On the website that they said that they are closed on Thanksgiving, but open Fridays. So if you want to try something new, I must say that was a good burger. It just should take more than 3 bites to eat one. But someone was telling me they also tried McDonald's recently and said that Big Mac has also gone on a weight loss program and is a tiny little thing now compared to what it used to be. So it's interesting how the economy, and particularly the fast food industry, is shaping up. I've noticed that in my junk mail, there's no more coupons for fast food. I haven't seen any coupons for Burger King, Jack in the Box, anything. And that was, I never went to a place like that without a coupon. So maybe my fast food will become a once a year or, once a half year experience. If any of you have noticed anything like that, you can let me know. Anyway, I'm still seeing the white screen. If anybody has any ideas on that, let me know, because I don't know what's going on. So anyway, that's it for me. I'm James, WW7ATS in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let me turn it back to Dave on net control.
7N, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Well, for Ron with his doctors, it seems like it's the way it goes. They give you pills for one ailment, and then they say, aha, I gotcha. I'm giving you another ailment, and I'm going to treat you for a next one. It's kind of like when you go to the dentist office. He sees you got a lot of cavities, but he's not going to take care of them all at once. He sort of makes it sort of go week after week or month after month. So he's got money in the bank to treat you for in the future. So that's kind of interesting. And as far as those Dick burgers, I've been to Dick's several times in this last year, and I too have noticed that their hamburgers are a little bit on the small size compared to some of the other burgers on the market. So that was kind of a disappointment for me. And then when I look over at Richard's Pig, I say, you can't have good head cheese when it's all covered with gold. So anyway, it's sort of sad to have something like that removed from your living room when you get so used to it after 10 years. I imagine it'd be frightening that you'll find out you got an empty space in your living room and you wonder where it came from. So anyway, that's what I've got to say with that. So that's pretty much here in Lake City. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. And so sending it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Thanks, Dave. KD7QKU again. Well, talking about fast food, I've had Dick's a couple of times. But I don't know if they have one here in Tacoma or not that I know of. But they have a Sonic burger. And I hadn't had Sonic burgers until I moved here. And they were having 2 double cheeseburgers for $5. And they were actually pretty tasty. So we could go get 2 double cheeseburgers, and then Joanne and I could each have one for lunch. It worked out pretty good. And so then I decided to stop by the other day. And I said, do you still have those 2 burgers for $5? She said, well, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But she said, we do have 2 toasted cheeseburgers for $5 or something. Okay, I said, I'll take those. So it was like 2 pieces of toast with a hamburger and cheese in the middle. And actually, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. The bread was toasted on both sides. So that's what we have for lunch. But we have a Burger King over here, unless they went out of business for a while. Richard probably doesn't know this. They put a fence around the place. So sometimes it'd be open and sometimes they wouldn't. You never knew. You'd go over there at noon and they wouldn't be there. So now I see the fence is down, so maybe they're open again. And it's the darndest drive-in. It's just a drive-in Burger King. It doesn't have an indoor restaurant. It's strange. But the last time I got a burger They were the normal size, a great big burger with tomato and lettuce and everything. Really, they make really the best burger as far as I'm concerned, and the biggest. So let's see. But yeah, Richard, I guess you're not going to have a smoked turkey for Thanksgiving. So no, okay, maybe for Christmas. I know you had got one and you really liked it. So let's see what else is going on. Darren, I don't know. I had a call from my son Ron today, and he's down in Quartzsite, Arizona. They have a big motorhome. It's an older motorhome, but it's real nice. It's an Airstream, and the refrigerator went out in it, and so he had to get a new refrigerator. So usually you have a propane, 110 and 12 volt. But the guy at the RV place talked him into just getting a 12 volt. He said they had these new 12 volt ones that really don't require much electricity. They're really great. So I don't know. He opted for one of those. So I guess we'll find out. As long as you don't go boondocking, where you're out where there's no electricity, I guess it'll be fine. But he does have solar panels on top. But, he purchased a lot, with a 2-car garage and I forget what they call it. It's a little room, and then they put the motorhome there. So anyway, he got a new refrigerator. He said it was $700-800. I knew it's quite a bit. If he'd have called me, I would have told him that when we were down in Phoenix, there was a motorhome and trailer junkyard. He could have probably went over there and got a used one. That would have probably been exactly like would fit the hole. I imagine he didn't say too much about. He did say it was a little different size. So he's a carpenter, so I guess he got it in. I don't know. I think it was actually bigger, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so that's all I know. Back to net, KD7QKU.
This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go to Port Angeles to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles again. Well, I have seen that motorhome, and that is one nice motorhome. Very, very nice. I hope they're doing well. Fast food. Last week, I spent 3 days in swim. I had dentist, and then the surgery, and then the post-op. And so Paul and I were over there, and it was about lunchtime, and so we decided we'd stop at Burger King, get a hamburger. And so we went in, we were the only ones there. And they had a deal, 2 quarter pounders, 2 fries, 2 drinks, $12. So that's what we went for. Pretty good deal. The hamburger was excellent. I'll drive over there any day for one of those. It was really nice. Very, very nicely done. Lots of veggies on it, and tomatoes and whatnot. So it was good. But what was outstanding was in my lifetime, I've never had better fries at a fast food place. I used to think McDonald's had some best, but oh my goodness. We were the only ones there, and apparently they must have dropped those fries in the fryer just as we ordered. And so they were so hot, you had to be careful. But my golly, what a good fry that was. And Richard, I still want to know how heavy that pig is. I sent you a text or a chat, and you didn't answer up. So either you don't know or you don't want to say. I thought it might be made out of that green packing plastic or something like that, but it sounds like maybe it's a ceramic or something. I think it must be awful heavy. Big as the back of a truck, for Pete's sake. That's big. Anyway, I don't have anything else, Dave. Back to you. N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
ITX.
It wasn't really that heavy. To me, it would be like, plaster Paris, or I don't know what it was made out of, but it was obviously hollow, very hollow, and it seemed like it could be very fragile. So I was really, we had it strapped down pretty good, and I drove I drove slower than normal, and I had to stop slower than normal. I was just glad to get it out of my truck in one piece without any damage. Let me put it that way, because it has a lot of value to it. In fact, I offered to take it off his hands, but no, he didn't. I didn't know where I was going to put it. Honestly, I mean, it would have been in the family room for for maybe a month, just as a kind of a discussion piece, and people would, I don't know, I guess I could have charged admission, but anyway, I like this project that I worked on. Well, I didn't like working on it, but I like looking at it when it's finished. This is the glass staircase at what do they call it? What do they call that thing over there? The joint, or Kitsap County, they have another quasi-government between the cities and the county, where they actually have, the health system and stuff like that. So anyway, this is a non-Dixon. I just called it the Bremerton Government Center in Bremerton that I worked on, and this is a fun picture I took about 10 years ago. K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, you were asking something about the video. For most of the net, I saw the repeater room, but then just a few seconds before you began your turn, it went to a white screen, and I had that all through your transmission and mostly through Dave's, but just before Ron began speaking, the white screen went away and it returned to the repeater room. So that's what I was seeing over here. And yeah, I don't know, Jim. Many of my Thanksgivings, my turkey dinner consisted of a turkey sandwich from either Subway or Quiznos or some similar place like that. I would get one like on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, throw it in my flight bag or something, and at least I'd have something that could be called turkey on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, those are the good old days, huh? And I agree. I'm not seeing any coupons from fast food places anymore. Don't know what happened there. Ron, your toasted burger, yeah, that sounds kind of good to me. But if it's not good enough, I found very few things that could not be fixed if you just add enough ketchup to it. That's my thought anyway. And the refrigerator on the Airstream. Let me reset. I had a mini motorhome that had a refrigerator. It was powered by either 110 or propane. So I'd use it on propane while on the road, or if I were somewhere where I could not plug in. But it never seemed to work all that well when I was powering it from propane. I don't know exactly why. It did seem to work a little better if I were stopped and could make sure that the vehicle was level. But on 110, it didn't matter what the position of my vehicle was. It cooled well on 110. So I don't know. I would bet 12 volts would probably work just about as well as the 110. But sorry your son had a problem there. And let's see, for me, yeah, we'll be staying at home here. My wife hasn't said what exactly she's going to make, but whatever it is, I'll eat it. I'm pretty food friendly here. So, Jim, you said the last time you ran by Costco, you couldn't get in the parking lot. Well, guess what? That was me today. And also ran by Fred Meyer. Couldn't find a parking spot. Wound up going to Safeway for just a quickie minute. But holy cow, lots of people out on the road today. You'd think it was a holiday or something. I guess that's how you tell, Dick, if it's a holiday. If there's a whole bunch of people everywhere. But of course you have to leave the house in order to see that. Anyway, back to you, Dave, on 7QO.
7QO, let's go on to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Yeah, Jim, the day before any holiday, you don't want to go to Costco. It will be wall-to-wall people. I see quizzical looks. Am I coming through okay? I'm amazed. Thanksgiving, I know everything for the last 2 or 3 years has been closed, restricted hours and such, but I don't recall Thanksgiving just being completely and totally shut down, whereas this year it certainly is. Try to find anything open. Now maybe that's exactly the way it should be, so the workers can spend time with family and friends and such, but I'm just amazed. There is nothing open. I don't know if the emergency room is open tomorrow or not. But hopefully none of us will need it. But everything else is closed. I'm not even sure. I would have to check like Safeway and those kind of places to see if any of those are open. I would think that there'd be some place that would be open. But certainly not any place you could buy a turkey sandwich. Yeah, and the other day to avoid Costco is the day before Christmas. Oh my goodness, what a zoo. I remember I worked in a pharmacy system over a fall season, and I just never saw so many people. I don't know how they could fit all in that giant warehouse. But anyway, I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. I see we're getting pretty close to the top of the hour here, so I don't know if it'll come around the weekend or not. So wherever you're at, and I hope you're not driving, because I would imagine the travel seasons will be pretty intense for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, because people are trying to get back to that. I have a question for Jim and anyone else. Are the airplanes back in service? They mothballed all those airplanes. It takes quite a bit to put an airplane back in service. I haven't looked at any satellite photos to see if they're all still parked out there or not, but I'm curious to know if anyone knows. This is WU7N, so let me turn it back to Dave, KD7ZYM on nav control.
7N, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Oh my, I read an article this last week about fast food places, and they're saying they're changing the industry a little bit. The dining rooms are being removed, and they're going to be a completely drive-through facility in the future. Don't know why they're taking the dining rooms out, but they're saying that people want stuff to go, so they figured that's the way they should put their stuff together. And I'm in an anti-turkey mode for tomorrow myself. I agree with Lee. I'm having spaghetti and meatball with Italian sausages tomorrow. So I'm going to fill my pellet with Italian food. So with that, I'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
This is KD7QKU again. Well, let's see. I made a pot of chili this week, and so we've been eating on chili the last few days. Chili and cornbread. Tonight we had little Caesar salad to go with it. So that's been pretty good. It turned out to be pretty good celery. I actually used a recipe. I borrowed part from one recipe. I put a little bit of sugar in it. I never put sugar in chili before. I didn't put any, hot pepper in it. I kind of wish I had it. Joanne isn't too big on that, so I try to get her in a bean casserole for Thanksgiving. I always try to get her to put a little chili pepper in there. Sometimes she will put a little chili powder in that. That makes it a little more interesting. I'd like to have mushrooms and onions and a whole bunch of stuff in it, but she shies away from that because she doesn't think everybody likes them. So we're going out for dinner, so we don't have leftovers, so I convinced her that we do it, because she'd do a turkey breast, so she's going to do a turkey breast on Friday, and hopefully there'll be sweet potatoes and stuffing and whatever else goes along with the gravy, I hope. And so we'll have some leftovers to eat on for a couple of days after the Thanksgiving. Big turkey breast. So anyway, what else? Not too much more. I guess I told you about my brother-in-law going to have another oblation. I don't know when he's going to have it. The surgeon was booked out 3 months, and he was hoping for a cancellation. So, and the surgeon wanted him in sooner too. So, whatever. So, let's see. I did have a really good conversation with my son Ron. He really enjoyed her. They have this side-by-side four-wheeler, it's got a cab on it, and a whole bunch of people down there, and they just go all over, and they go on these roads, and then take the motor home, and they just had gone someplace and stayed 3 or 4 days, and came back, and they're going to have their Thanksgiving dinner with all the people that live there. They have a community club or clubhouse or whatever, and so it's potluck, and everybody's bringing some, maybe one cooks a turkey, but they were all bringing stuff. So my daughter-in-law's a really good cook. She was bringing some pies. I don't know what else. So anyway, it sounded like they were going to have a good time. Of course, it's nice and warm down there. It's probably in the 80 degrees. So it was real warm. All right, I guess. I was going to tell you one other thing. Let me let it drop. I go to the grocery store now. Somebody calls today. I was sitting there, and my friend Randy from Boise called, and he does what is it? Low wattage CW. I can't say what you call it. I want to say PSRG, but that's not it. And then he's been writing some articles in a magazine or something they put out. So he sent me the article he'd written. And then when I was sitting there, I hadn't looked at Facebook for a while, and I looked at Facebook, and it was my friend that lives on Whidbey Island. His name is Ron Pogue, and come to find out it was his birthday, and he was 84. I didn't realize he was a couple of years older than I am. Gee, I've known him ever since I knew Joanne, Ron and Elaine, and they lived in the Renton Highlands, and they sold their property when he retired from Boeing, and they built about a 4,500 or 5,000 square foot house, one level, one story, in a U-shape, just ridiculous, on about an acre of land. The front of it's on a street, and the back of it there's a creek. Well, Ron told me this last windstorm was the worst windstorm they'd ever had, and it blew down more trees on their property and driveway and yard and stuff than he could imagine, limbs and stuff. And he said he had a steel chainsaw, but he had given it away because he couldn't pull it to start it anymore. And so he said that a neighbor had an electric one and let him borrow it so he could clear the driveway so they could get in and out. So he said the electric chainsaw was just wonderful. It was a steel, and it said it was just fantastic. So I kind of have a feeling there's going to be a new chainsaw in Ron's life. So anyway, he needs one, just to keep the place cleaned up. He said the yard and everything was just a mess. He didn't know if he'd ever get it cleaned up. So back to that, KD7QKU.
So let's go to week
cool. It's 7KC Land, Port Angeles. Yeah, I'll make it quick, 7-3. Enjoy it. We're having spaghetti and meatballs tomorrow, and pumpkin pie. Oh, it'll be good. Anyway, if you've never tried the chili that Costco sells, I don't think we've ever had anything better in our lifetime. My goodness sakes. It's $14, but you get a lot of it. And it goes on potatoes, goes on rice, it goes on anything. It's really, really good. Okay, that's it. It's 7KC, Lane, Port Angeles, 7-3.
And to wrap up the net, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for allowing us to use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
KC disconnected.